In Raleigh, NC State and Florida State, two old ACC Atlantic Division foes, meet in the ACC regular season finale here at Doak Field at Dail Park. Couple of red-hot teams, couple of top 25 teams clashing in the Oak City. And as we come down the stretch in ACC play, we already know that Notre Dame has clinched the #1 seed. They lead the Atlantic, but these two teams right behind them, they have a lot to play for as they look for a top 4 seed in Charlotte.
You win the weekend and you get into a top 3 seed. That's exactly what you want going into Charlotte, and that's going to be a huge weekend.
We welcome you into the booth here at Doak Field at Dail Park. I'm Andrew Sanders. He's Andrew Sensen, and this is going to be a really fun series. A couple of great teams and a contrast of styles.
Yeah, 100%. NC State has led the way offensively for the ACC this year. Defensively, FSU has been – the pitching staff is unbelievable. So it's going to be very interesting to see these two teams go at each other.
FSU leading the ACC in ERA and in strikeouts, and the guy who handles that excellent pitching staff, not only is he a whiz defensively, he's got a big bat.
Yeah, Coach Martin loves this guy. He says he's one of the best catchers in the country. Obviously, the stats tell. 20 home runs, 59 RBIs. He has just been killing the ball for FSU all year.
So facing a dangerous Seminole offense with Nelson hitting in the middle of it. NC State started 1-8 in the ACC this year. Things turned around when Coach Avent changed his weekend rotation. Reed Johnston starting on Fridays. Matt Willardson settled into the Sunday role. They've been a different ball club since.
And these three guys have really gotten NC State back into the situation that they're in right now, 17-13 in the ACC with a chance to be a top 4 seed.
First pitch of the ball game comes in just a hair early, 6:31. You get to see Reed Johnston on the mound for NC State, and he does like to work quickly. Ball and a strike. He starts the exchange with Tyler Martin. Here's a look at Reed Johnston's numbers this season, making his 8th start of the year. And it's certainly no coincidence that when he took over that Friday role, an ace job that he has had before for this team, that's when this team has looked completely different. They've always been able to hit. They needed to get better pitching. They've gotten it, and it all starts with him on Fridays.
Exactly. I mean, early on in the year, they struggled just pitching, in all aspects. It was the starting pitching struggling. The bullpen was struggling. But now they kind of just honed it in, and, like you said, Reed Johnston has been fantastic for NC State on Friday nights.
Gets the inside corner here, called by home plate umpire Perry Costello. Dave Susi is at first, Derek Malika at second, Tim Rosso is at third, and Tyler Martin has not taken the bat off of his shoulder yet. Payoff pitch up the middle, and Jose Torres covers a lot of ground. He made that play look really easy. It's not.
It's amazing, and this is why he's one of the top defenders in the country, right? He makes things look so smooth out there. That is not an easy play with a very good runner in Tyler Martin as well.
Here's a look at how the Seminoles stack up. Of course, Martin, the on-base machine at the top of the order. Nelson, as we mentioned, batting third, followed by Robbie Martin. This is a team that is at the very bottom of the ACC in terms of batting average. They don't steal a ton of bases, 13th in the league in stolen bases, yet third in the ACC in home runs when you got Nelson leading the way. And when you look at them statistically, you say, okay, they hit the long ball, but that's about it. But because they have that classic FSU style where they work counts as Lacey skies one into right, should be out number 2, and it is. Because they have such a good approach, look at their runs scored, and it's better than 6 per game. They still score runs.
Yeah, and I was shocked to see that. Obviously, when you look at it on paper, you see the strikeouts, you see some home runs in there, but it really comes down to the 3 guys that are really their top producers in Cable, Martin, and Nelson. But, yeah, it's shocking that they're putting up 6.5 runs per game. But, I mean, this pitching staff is what really, led them to this point of the season.
2 outs, nobody on for Matt Nelson. Coach Mike Martin Jr. says quite simply he's the best catcher in the country. And a look at these numbers. Yeah, that OPS stands out.
Those numbers will put him up into that top list, and this is exactly what NC State wants. Him with no one on base. That's the biggest thing that they can do this weekend is try to keep him, up at bat and be able to just keep that 1 run if he does get a hold of one.
We've seen a couple of breaking balls from Reed Johnston now. And Johnston trying to close out this inning quickly after falling behind Martin to start the game. 3 balls and a strike. Well, he has turned the entire inning around as he strikes out Nelson, looking 1-2-3 for Johnston and the Wolfpack in the first. Bryce Hubbard takes the mound for Florida State. Get a look at what he's done in 11 starts this season. Outstanding. 86 strikeouts to just 22 walks. He's a guy that is going to fill up the zone. And like it seems like everyone on this staff, he can throw 3 pitches for a strike.
That's exactly right, and he's a power lefty. That's kind of how Coach Martin described him. He's a power lefty. He's an athlete. He's got a high spin rate of a fastball, so he's going to work the ball up and down in the zone. He could throw a changeup, curveball. Well, once again, he's kind of leader of this very, very good FSU pitching staff.
He'll be facing the top offense in the ACC. Austin Murr leading things off. Johnny Butler in the 3-hole, the ACC's leader in batting average. What a tear he has gone on in the last week, named ACC Player of the Week. He hit 500 last week. But this is the top offense in the ACC because it's not just 1 or 2 guys. It is up and down the entire lineup 1 through 9.
Exactly. And when they were struggling, they just weren't that healthy, right? They weren't having team at-bats, and I think now they're starting to figure out their groove. Obviously, it's late into the season, so you're expecting that, but these guys have really come together. They have team at-bats. They do it with the long ball. They do it with bunting, hitting runs. They could steal some bags. It's a very impressive lineup 1 through 9.
Wolfpack led by Elliott Avent, 25th season, one of the best to ever do it. You look at the active coaches, over 1,100 wins, one of just 11 active coaches, and he'll be the college national team head coach as well this summer. Quite an honor for him, and he's got his ball club peaking at the right time, playing its best baseball down the stretch.
And I always feel like an NC State team does that, right? You get hot at the right time. You know when to, going into postseason play, you need to start playing good baseball. And this team, like you said, they are playing very, very good baseball, especially coming off a sweep at Pitt last weekend.
Hubbard's first pitch in there for a strike to Austin Murr. Both of these teams, not that it's terribly unique, but you don't see it all that often. Both of these teams have a first baseman leading off.
Yeah, you actually don't see it, at all in baseball anymore. They're just not your prototypical first, leadoff hitter. But
Martin and Murr are.
These guys are, and it's exactly, it's the perfect guys too. There's a nasty breaking ball from Hubbard. But yeah, I mean that's what they do. They get on base and they can work some counts. Not right here. You're not going to work many counts with that breaking ball. You see him just fooled off the front foot. Tries to foul it off.
That's 3 pitches and an awkward swing strikeout against one of the best hitters for NC State. Switch hitting center fielder Tyler McDonough now. And Hubbard is throwing nothing but strikes. McDonough looking to change the score in this game on that swing. Not that we're not looking forward to and certainly enjoying watching, Reed Johnston in the first inning face a dangerous Seminoles offense. But this is the main course in this game.
100%.
It's the bottom half of the innings. It's watching a guy with the talent of Bryce Hubbard against this excellent offense.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the storyline this whole weekend. Even if you get into the bullpen, FSU has 7 guys that can, be in the 92 to 100 range, and their team ERA is at 3.2. You don't see that in college baseball anymore. These guys are just flat out good, and it's going to be very, it's going to be a tall task to go up against this NC State lineup.
Well, McDonough also, like Murr, he sees the 0-2 sweeping curveball, and he gets just a piece of it. First ball outside of the zone, thrown by Bryce Hubbard. Redshirt freshman from Windermere, Florida, moving into the Friday role. An injury a couple of weeks ago to Parker Messick moved his start back to Sunday, as McDonough once again will stay alive. not a big injury. He still pitched on Sunday against Clemson, but it moved his bullpen day back to Thursday. They wanted to wait and see, how do you feel on Friday? How do you feel on Saturday? Back felt fine, came out, pitched well against the Tigers as FSU was able to clinch that series on Sunday. Another breaking ball, and it froze him. Couple of strikeouts for Bryce Hubbard to start.
Once again, just a 12-6 breaking ball. I mean, if you don't see that right out of the hand right away, then you are completely fooled. And obviously, Murr and McDonough going down looking. It's just, that's very good pitching right there.
Look at the Seminoles defense. Johnny Butler takes the ball away from him. Asked Mike Martin Jr. what's been the biggest difference for his ball club. They've won 5 straight series, 4 straight ACC series. He said, we've just been playing better defense.
And that's something that we talked about before we came on the broadcast. You don't hear many coaches say that. And it's always the offense is picking up, the starting pitching is doing well. You never hear the defense. And playing good defense just gives confidence to your starting pitching. And that's why, FSU starters are doing so well as, of late too. They just have the confidence to throw strikes, and that's what they do, and put the trust into their defense.
Johnny Butler in the last 10 up above 500. And he will work a 2-out walk on 4 pitches. So that's the game's first base runner. And it'll give Jose Torres an opportunity. A rare walk issued by Bryce Hubbard. Florida State, the best team in the ACC when it comes to striking out opposing batters, and it's not just the strikeouts. They're not working around guys. They're coming right after you, challenging, and still getting those strikeouts. That K to walk ratio is outstanding.
And I think if you're NC State this weekend, you have to have that aggressive approach because you want to – obviously you want to, see pitches and make these guys throw a lot more pitching than they have to, but if they're going to be in the zone, it doesn't matter with what pitch. You have to be aggressive and be able to attack pitches that you want. And, I think that's what they've done in the past in the last couple of weeks, and that's why they've been successful.
I think that's an encouraging sign for Hubbard there. Had thrown 5 straight balls, and he goes to the breaking ball and gets it for a strike. He's obviously got feel for that pitch early. High cheddar, too good against Torres. Wolfpack shortstop made a nice defensive play in the first. Got his average up over 300, homered on the weekend against Pitt, his 5th of the year. Butler takes off, and this should be playable for Martin in foul territory. It is, and that'll end the inning. Just a 2-out walk, but nothing else. Bryce Hubbard, 2 strikeouts in the first. No score between FSU and NC State here in the top of the 2nd inning. Mike Martin Jr. He is FSU through and through. 22 years as an assistant, his 2nd as a head coach. And he'll come out, he'll be the 3rd base coach. Florida State will send up Robbie Martin, Elijah Cabell, and Dylan Simmons.
How cool is that to be to take over the program after your dad, too?
Yeah.
That's got to be awesome.
And a program where, he played as well, an All-American catcher, made a couple of World Series as a player. Robbie Martin, 3rd-year sophomore. Big shift on defensively against him as he falls behind a ball and 2 strikes. The analytics telling NC State, play Martin to pull. He's got one of the smoothest left-handed swings in the country. JT Jarrett, the Wolfpack 2nd baseman, out there in shallow right field. And a nice strikeout for Reed Johnston. That's number 2 for him.
Yeah, really nice slider right there. After a high fastball on the outside part of the plate, you go with the back foot. Probably a little bit too over. over the plate that he wanted, but nonetheless gets to swing for a strike and out number 1 of the inning.
Elijah Cabell, right-handed power hitter, standing in. Cabell got the average up to 287, 14 homers, second, of course, only to the nation's leader, Matt Nelson. Also leads the team in strikeouts. Maybe one of the most fun players to watch in college baseball. Andrew, you're a Yankees fan.
Yep.
To me, he is kind of the Giancarlo Stanton of college baseball. He hits absolute tanks.
Yeah, it is just raw power. That's exactly what Coach Martin said as well on the Zoom call earlier on this week. He just has raw power. I see 14, home runs on the year. Obviously, he has swing and miss stuff that comes along with that, but if he gets a hold of the ball, you're going to be very, very impressed with how far it goes.
Close pitch. The crowd wanting it. Good crowd on hand. COVID restrictions have loosened up here in North Carolina since the last time NC State was at home. A 2-2 to Cabell. Got a piece of the slider. And so, instead of only a few hundred in the seats, the announced crowd today, about 1,700.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's exactly what you need for this type of series as well.
Another slider, and Cabell gets a piece. He's been dealing with a bit of a hip flexor issue, but able to play through it. Takes to make the count full. Cabell from Winter Park, Florida. Third-year sophomore, a guy who's back. Might not have been if not for the shortened draft. I think a guy with his raw power likely would have been picked. Maybe not in the top 5 rounds, obviously, but 6 through 10. Yeah, I think somebody's going to take a look at him for sure.
You just have to take the potential, right?
Well, he got all of this slider. The only question is this ball fair? It is not. Well, he shows off just a little bit of the power, and I don't even think he really barreled that one up.
I think that got off the end of the bat and was still headed out of this ballpark. I mean, just look at the size of his forearms right there. That is grown man forearms. That's exactly what you need to have some power as well.
Well, he takes another big hack and comes up empty. Three straight strikeouts for Reed Johnston. And the defense behind him not having to work over the last couple of batters, but it is the best defense in the country, tied for the tops in terms of fielding percentage. An athletic outfield and a rock-solid infield with Luka Tresh behind the plate. That .985 percentage tied with a couple of other teams, one of them being Notre Dame for tops in the country.
Yeah, and they gave outs away early on. I think that's why they struggled early on the year. I remember seeing them against Louisville and just it was error after error, and they made a couple bad throws and they just gave outs away. And now that they really figured that out, obviously things changed and they're back to 17-13 in the ACC.
Well, you have to wonder how much that they had a 2-week COVID break.
Yep.
And as a 4-year starter in the ACC. Just how much of a game baseball is. You've got to play every day, and when you're held out for a couple weeks, you get thrown in the mix against Louisville. That's a tough task.
100%. Especially, you get in a rhythm defensively too, and there's, the pitching wasn't doing as well as it is now, so you get out of the rhythm. But now, I mean, starters have been rock solid for NC State, and that leads to better defense.
3-1 here on Dylan Simmons. Simmons, the starting DH today. Guy who started slow has really picked it up as of recently, hitting just under 230. Guy with immense talent. Stay alive here with the dribbler foul. Rated as the #1 high school first baseman prospect. Now in his second year with the Noles. Another payoff pitch. Once again, foul ball. Wojciech just wants a chance at third base.
I was going to say, talking about good defenders, he has been phenomenal over there at third base during his career here at NC State. Just makes the plays. He does everything right over there. Seems like every play that he's able to make, he's getting it done for NC State.
NC State wearing the camo tops. Starting pitcher gets to pick that. Reed Johnston likes the camo look. He struck him out. Make it 4 in a row for Reed Johnston. He strikes out the side in the second. Get the latest news and information from the ACC each morning with special guests from the world of sports. Packer and Durham, weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Back with Andrew Sensen. My name is Andrew Sanders. As we told you, 1,700 in attendance. And the wrestling team, some members of the wrestling team in attendance.
Those are some guys I would not mess with.
Luka Tresh, first pitch swinging. NC State is on the board. That's one way to start the inning.
Yeah, I'd say so. That ball actually crushed out of this ballpark. It's a fastball up in his zone that he was just ready to go for. Barrel stays above baseball. And that thing, once you get up there in left field, see, yeah, that's just a mislocation right at the belt. And Luka Tresh shows off the power.
Yeah, that is not a guy you want to miss middle to.
No, definitely not.
Now here comes Terrell Tatum. They might be talking about that home run on Packer and Durham on Monday. That was a no-doubter. Tatum lifts this one into shallow right. He got under it. Long run. Martin calls off Jackson Green for the first out. So 1-0 NC State, 1 out. And now Devontae Brown with the bases empty. He looks at a strike. TrackMan data on that Luka Tresh home run. Estimated distance 434 feet.
As you stated before, I played in the ACC for 4 years. I'm 100% guaranteeing that I never hit a ball that far.
And you were a guy that...
Boom, boom, bats and all.
Yeah, you were a guy that hit some home runs.
Not that far.
That's just outside, and that's a pitch that Hubbard wanted.
I was more the wall scraper type guy.
Well, there's the souvenir. The boom, boom, bats and all. Good pitch. Strike 3 called. Well, again, it's any pitch in any location. He goes inside, gets the corner.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pitcher's pitch, right? That's exactly what you want if you're Hubbard. If you're Devontae Brown, I could see the argument there, probably being a ball and a half in. But in the ACC, you're going to get that. They're going to go outside black on most guys.
When Sheik hits this one to right, did he get enough of it? Martin puts on the brakes just shy of the track. And that'll end the inning. But Luka Tresh puts the Wolfpack on the scoreboard. Well, we talked in the open about how Matt Nelson might be the best catcher in the country. Luka Tresh certainly in the conversation, as everyone knew what he could do with the bat coming into this season. But what he's really shown after getting his opportunity is that he can handle the game behind the plate.
And that's one of the biggest things as a catcher. That's what you saw last year in Patrick Bailey from NC State. You know, that's what you see the top guys do. And obviously he learned from Patrick Bailey last year, and I think that's really helped him kind of grow into the player he's been today. But what do the scouts love? They love the power, potential that he has, and obviously showing it off tonight.
Nico Baldor handled by Torres for out number 1. Yeah, especially from a defensive premium position. If you can, the defense comes first, but the offense can be a separator. And for Luka Tresh, that second inning home run, his 10th of the season. So you go for double-digit home runs in a shortened college baseball campaign, and that'll get some attention. This, by the way, this entire league is littered with outstanding catchers. You got a brief look as Nander DeSatis takes strike 1. Henry Davis of Louisville, Adrian Del Castillo came into the year as the number 1 prospect in the ACC according to D1 Baseball. Kevin Parada from Georgia Tech is an exciting newcomer, a future probably first-round pick. And you got Nelson and Tresh as well. All of these guys, I think, have a chance to be big league catchers.
And it's always been that way, too. In the last couple of years, you know, Joey Bart going first round, then Patrick Bailey going first round. Shocking that they went to the same team, but, you know, it's always been that way throughout the ACC. I just think it's a very good catching lead. Obviously, there's great coaches that are involved in that as well. So, yeah, just top to bottom, it's a great league overall this year. And as you could see in the standings, it's, you know, anyone could go into a weekend and either sweep or get swept.
How about the start for Reed Johnston? He's faced 8 batters. This is already his 5th strikeout.
It's just the sequences that he's been able to throw. You know, he's able to locate fastball in on the hands and then go away with that slider that we've seen probably 2 to 3 times already with strikeouts. This is where he's at his best. And as you said before going to break, he likes big moments, and he's in a big moment right now.
I think this is certainly a moment that can make some guys better and some guys worse. And he's a guy with a lot of experience. He wants the ball in big moments. He knows how important a Friday game is in an important series like this. And there's way more fans in the stands. I mean, there's certainly reason that you could have some adrenaline going. I think that makes him better, not worse.
100%. That's where the true competitors come out, and you're able to see the kind of the true characteristics of a person and an athlete. And when you're in this type of situation, in this type of environment, you know, those guys rise to the top. And obviously right now it's what Reed Johnston's doing.
This is a Florida State team that leads the ACC. They strike out almost 11 times per game, but already 5. Make it 6. Foul tip off the bat of Jackson Green. Reed Johnston through 3 innings, 6 strikeouts. One nothing NC State here, bottom of the 3rd. Look how this team started. 4-9 overall, 1-8 in the ACC, and that was after 3 home series. If you look back in mid-March, really March 22nd, and you projected where NC State would be, I don't think many people at all would see them being in this spot, playing Florida State with a chance to potentially finish as high as 3rd in the league.
No, you don't look at that and say, all right, you start 1-8 in the ACC. As tough as the ACC is this year, you do not expect them to be in the spot that they are right now.
JT Jarrett will hit this one fouling out of play. And especially the most alarming part, and it's alarming to start 1-8, but especially when all of those games were at home. It's so tough in this league to win on the road. But NC State has been better than any team in the country on the road this year. An .833 win percentage, 15-3.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. You know, we always talk about how hard it is to go on the road and just win a weekend, right? But for them to go sweep 3 weekends on the road, obviously last weekend, and then at Pitt, they go to UNC, sweep them. You know, it's just, I think it could be the thing of getting out on the road, being at the hotels, you know, spending more time with the team. That was always a good part of being on the road, but
bonding experience.
Yep, exactly. It's just, I think when you're cooped up at home for the last year and a half, basically, you know, you like to see different things, and obviously NC State has loved being on the road so far this year.
I tell you what, Florida State has been really good on the road also. Road series wins over Notre Dame. That's the one that really stands out. Over Link Jarrett's Notre Dame team, father of JT Jarrett, who's at the plate now for NC State. Also, Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech. They swept Miami. 2-2, almost hit them.
And that was a 32-run deficit against Miami. The largest deficit that Miami has ever had in their, 80-year career or history in an in-school rival or in-state rival. Pretty impressive to do. And they also beat Florida that week.
Oh, it was a great week for the Noles.
Number 5, and then they beat number 6.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive stuff.
You look as of late, they've won 4 straight ACC series. Boston College at the bottom of the Atlantic standings with Wake Forest, but Clemson, Notre Dame, Georgia Tech, those are some of the best teams in the ACC. Well, JT Jarrett is up here battling. Mentioned his dad, Link Jarrett, of course, was a great player at Florida State. He was actually college roommates with Mike Martin Jr. So Coach Martin, he knew JT Jarrett, since he was a baby.
And that just shows how small the baseball community is. Like, it's just crazy that obviously roommates, and then Coach Hart playing at FSU, knows Coach Martin, and I think he was a couple years after him, if I'm correct there.
Yeah, just a couple years after, but they know each other really well. Just how cool is that? You never know who you'll meet in college and what they'll go on to be, and in that apartment or that dorm, you had a couple of future ACC head coaches.
You never know, right? And obviously they are fantastic head coaches. Link Jarrett's second year at Notre Dame.
That'll be strike 3 looking. I'm not sure. Jarrett took a quick step, and I'm not sure if it was because he knew it was a strike or he thought he was walking to first. Yeah, I think he knew it was a strike the whole way.
Yep, he knew right away. And it's just a good 12-6 breaking ball. And it's slow, too, but he doesn't slow up his whole entire motion. Arm speed stays the same, and then all of a sudden it just floats out of his hand. And that's why he's been so successful with it so far tonight.
One out, back to the top of the order, and Austin Murr gets a first pitch fastball. And I'm honestly surprised he didn't look to attack that one. You look at 4 strikeouts for Hubbard. 3 of them have been looking. The only one swinging was Murr, and it was pretty much a sword.
Yep.
And he got that breaking ball. And now he's down 0-2 again, and you're thinking, is the breaker coming? He could throw all 3 pitches.
I'm thinking he's going fastball right here. Got him on the breaking ball last time. You get in his head. That's a perfect spot for an outside fastball.
Well, shake of the head from Matt Nelson tells you what he thought about that one. He hit the spot. I don't know if it was a strike, but he hit the target.
That's all you want, right, as a pitcher?
Another fastball, and Murr's late on it. Pretty solid contact down the left field line.
Now right here he's able to do a couple different things. Murr's probably think he's going to go back to that breaking ball. Wouldn't be shocked if you see him go up with another fastball before he goes back to the breaking ball if he has to. Went with it. And I think that's just what Murr's sitting on. He was pretty much right on that pitch right there, so he's probably in his head, be late on fastball. You can see that curveball out of his hand.
He bears that one too low. Coach Martin said Bryce Hubbard's got to pitch both up and down. And sometimes he doesn't keep the ball down enough. Like that, he left it up. Gets away with it as Murr's out in front. But for the most part, he has commanded that breaking ball down, and that's where it can be a real difference maker for him.
Yeah, and with that high spin rate fastball, he's able to go up in the zone too, where most guys can't really live.
Yeah. And he strikes out Murr for the second time.
That's just a really good sequence right there. Able to throw the breaking ball for a strike, and then just goes away back outside with that fastball. And you can see Murr just trying to battle with it, but unable to get any type of barrel on it.
Austin Murr, one of the toughest guys on NC State to strike out. He struck out twice tonight. Strikeouts number 24 and 25. that would be the lowest for any Florida State regular starter except for Tyler Martin. He's just not an easy guy to strike out, and Hubbart's gotten the better of him now a couple of times.
Yeah, I think it really starts with that first at-bat. You know, a quick 3 pitches, you don't really, you know, you're just uncomfortable. You don't see him, and all of a sudden you're back into that same situation, you know, down 2 strikes, and you're just unsure of what he's able to throw because he's been able to throw, you know, every single pitch he has for a strike so far tonight.
Tyler McDonough struck out looking back in the first. Change up that time. I don't think he's shown that all that often yet. He's still keeping that one in the back pocket. For the most part, it's been fastball, breaking ball. Just the one hit for NC State. The solo shot by Luka Tresh to lead off the second inning. On the ground to DeSatis. 1-2-3 inning for Bryce Hubbart. He has struck out 5 himself through 3. We'll have the best of the ACC Rowing Championship Sunday night from 7 to 8 Eastern, and the best of the ACC Track and Field Championship Monday. That's 6 to 8:30 Eastern. Nobody covers the ACC in all sports like we do. You can watch both extensive recaps right here on ACC Network or the ESPN app. Outstanding coverage. ACC rowing and track and field. Quickly behind 2-0 on Tyler Martin. Reed Johnston fell behind him 3-1 the first time he saw him. And I think if there's one key for Florida State or NC State, I think it might hinge on, hit right back up the middle. Johnston able to stick with it and make the play, and we'll see if he's all right as that line drive caught him. I was going to say, Andrew, I think that Tyler Martin, I mean, he really is such a key for both teams. If NC State can keep him off base quite often, probably will have success pitching. On the other side, if he gets on a ton, Florida State's going to put up some runs.
100%. He is the table setter for this FSU offense. This ball is absolutely smoked. Looks like it just gets Johnson in the backside. As long as it didn't hit that bare hand that he went back. Seems to be all right, though. But, yeah, he's really the table setter for this team. You know, if they're able to do different things with him on base, and they've always seemed to have that leadoff guy who really set the table for them to where they're able to, you know, hit and run. Obviously, this year they don't steal that many bags, but, you know, with a guy on, it's a lot different look for, obviously, some starters.
Quickly, 0-2 on Logan Lacey. Yeah, back in your day, you had to contend with guys like James Ramsey.
Oh, yeah.
He's now the assistant.
He was on base every time he got
every
up.
inning.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Lacey rolls this one over. Now James Ramsey, of course, assistant at Georgia Tech. So we were talking about the head coaches, Mike Martin Jr., and Mike Bell at Pitt, Link Jarrett at Notre Dame. You got Ramsey is one of the best assistant coaches in the country, along with another FSU grad that's right here in Raleigh, Chris Hart, longtime associate head coach here at NC State, recruiting coordinator. And you look at Florida State and Mike Martin's fingerprints, and they are all over this league with the coaching tree. 7 strikeouts now for Reed Johnston. There's Coach Hart.
Once again, just another slider. You know, that one's really good. Starts middle of the plate, breaking out to that outside black. A little up in his zone. Probably doesn't want it there, you know, in the entire game. And just get a good look at Coach Hart, who has been here and has done a tremendous job at just bringing in top talent. Always a contender in the ACC, in the country.
And it's, you know, to have a good team, you got to bring in good talent, and obviously you have to have a good approach as well. And that's what he teaches this team. They have the top offense in the ACC because they work counts. Although I will say that the NC State numbers, I think they look to jump on some pitches if they get their pitch early in the count.
Yep.
They're actually towards the bottom of the ACC in both walks and strikeouts. But it's that same approach, going into the gap, middle away, and driving the ball.
And the thing I like about Coach Hart, he doesn't teach the same player the same. 1 through 9, it's completely different of how he teaches. He knows different guys are going to look at different things and, watch more video, obviously analytics.
There's the first hit of the game for Florida State as Matt Nelson serves one into right center field.
Talk about analytics. That's something that NC State did not have drawn up for Matthew Nelson, going the other way with that pitch. But yeah, analytics. I mean, how crazy is it how much baseball has changed over the last, say, 5 years with analytics?
Well, especially in the college game, because the pro game was first, but now these schools can have video. They can set up spray charts, and they can say, hey, look, Robbie Martin's going to pull the ball, and they're going to put Torres on the right side of second base.
Yeah, that's what they do. I mean, it's crazy to see now, but it's just part of the game.
That inside pitch has been given for a strike on both sides by Perry Costello. There is a look at that shift. Robbie Martin, of course, the nickname RBI Martin. Works pretty well for a guy with a swing like his. Been scuffling a bit recently. Staying in the cleanup spot. Averages dipped down to 255 entering today. But he does have 46 of those RBIs, and Nelson's going to take off. And Tresh didn't catch it cleanly. He's going to have second base stolen, and you talk about maybe unexpected. This is a Florida State team that does not steal a ton of bases, and it's the catcher Nelson who takes off, and he's got his 4th of the year.
Talk about one of the best catchers in the league. He's going to take that base. What a great base running play right there. I don't know if he saw something in Reed Johnson or knew what pitch was coming. Obviously a slider on the inside part of the plate. Able to steal that bag and put himself in the running or scoring position.
So after a couple of outs to start the inning, now it truly is an RBI opportunity for Martin.
And that's right there is what Coach Martin has seen, Robbie Martin do in the past couple of weeks. He's out in front of everything, getting a little bit too pull happy. He wants to see him let that ball travel a little bit more and see, use the middle of the field a little bit more than what he has been in the last couple of weeks.
Reed Johnston has struck out 8. Just 4 innings in and only 2 Ks short of his career high. Nelson stranded at second. Well, it might not be Friday night in the ACC with the ACC tournament coming up next week. All series in the league moved up to Thursday, but the old saying at Friday night pitching, it has turned into Thursday night pitching this week. It's a matchup of aces. We shouldn't be surprised that we've had a pitcher's duel so far here in Raleigh, as Bryce Hubbard is looking to try and keep pace with Reed Johnston here. He's given up, like Johnston, just 1 hit. The only difference, it was a home run, but the lefty has been impressive with 5 strikeouts through 3 innings.
Yeah, really impressive, and his go-to pitch right now is that breaking ball, especially against left-handers. So obviously Johnny Butler will probably see a couple here in this at-bat, but I mean, he's been able to work both sides of the plate, goes up a little bit with that fastball, and that breaking ball has been filthy tonight.
Butler digs in at 387 batting average. He walked. He sees a changeup here. That's maybe been the biggest difference for Bryce Hubbard, who struggled with his control at times as a true freshman last spring. But pitching coach Jimmy Bellinger says, he's gotten better command, and he's really improved on that changeup. And again, with all the lefty bats that NC State has, Murr, Butler, Tatum, more likely to see the curve than the changeup, but he's not afraid to throw it to lefties. And there is the curveball, And once again, it's a lot of looking strikeouts for NC State. Now, 4 of the 6 have been watched.
And that's the thing. If you don't see it out of his hand right away, you could see Butler kind of just be frozen. And if you don't see that ball right out of his hand, you're dead in the water. And that's exactly why he has 6 strikeouts tonight.
One out now for the shortstop, Jose Torres, and a softly served single into center. So Torres gets on base for Luca Tresh, who did the damage in the second. A ball hit 434 feet.
And it was a mistake fastball up in the zone that he was just able to get barreled to. See how he comes back at him now. May pitch a little bit differently. Obviously, could be working backwards here. Off speed early on. Fastballs late in the count. Just can't miss middle. Belt high to this kid right here.
Starts him with the breaker for the strike.
Really the first low pitch that Perry Costello back there has called for a strike. He's been up in the zone a little bit. That one's shocking.
And you were right. He is getting pitched backwards here. 0-2.
See if he sticks with that. Maybe a little bit of a harder curveball down the zone. Trust, obviously, you have one of the best catchers in the country. You can throw this into the dirt, let him do his work behind the dish. You just don't want to miss with another fastball.
In his shallow right center. And Jackson Green has been rock solid defensively at second base. And he's not going to miss that one.
Yeah, and he went with the fastball. It was a good pitch, low, outside corner on the black, at the knees. It's a fantastic spot.
Yeah, that's hard to do any damage.
Oh, yeah.
From there. And Green just 1 error on the year. And again, this FSU team didn't play great defense early. And you look at their defensive numbers coming into this series. 970, which is, it's not outstanding, but it's certainly not bad either. And from where they were, second half of the season playing much better defensively. And when they can do that with this pitching staff, they're just not going to give up many runs.
There's a big swing by Tatum. But, yeah, you're exactly right. And I think we talked about early on, it's the confidence that you build as a pitcher if you have good defense behind you. Obviously, you feel like you have to be perfect if you're not playing good defense, but FSU has turned it around, and they're playing really good defense, and that's why they've gotten into the spot, according to Coach Martin.
Terrell Tatum flew out to right in his first trip. He has been a huge part of why NC State has stepped on the gas pedal in the second half of the season. He's hitting .365 in ACC play. A lot of guys, obviously this year the ACC choosing to play more series so you don't get as many non-conference opportunities, but still, you expect guys to usually feast on some non-conference pitching and then the numbers dip. Well, he's actually hitting about 50 points higher in ACC play, and 8 of his 9 homers have come against league opponents.
And this is always a guy who's struggled a little bit with conference play, too. In the past, he struggled with the strikeouts, but this year just seems to have a changed approach. He's barreling up baseballs a lot more. Obviously still some swing and miss stuff, but barrel to baseball has been a lot better for him this year than any other year in his career.
Oh, he got another breaking ball, and he saw that one all the way. This is going to put runners on the corners with 2 out. Terrell Tatum continues to hit in ACC competition.
Yeah, great job. It's a breaking ball that stays up in the zone, and it's where his misses have been so far tonight. You see right here, it's just a belt high. Misses over the middle of the plate. Great base running by Jose Torres. Sees it right away, able to take third. Not even a consideration of looking back. Big at bat right here for Devontae Brown.
Yeah, where this series might swing, and look, hey, baseball. That's usually how games swing,
That's
is in
right.
situations such as these, but especially the quality of this FSU pitching staff. Nelson with a fake throw, nobody covering the bag, and Tatum has swiped second base. That's number 13 on the season. He leads the team. Now, NC State actually against Pitt in the 9th inning on Saturday. Same situation. Lefty on the mound, first and third, 2 out. They ran a double steal, and Johnny Butler stole home, and I think Florida State probably was aware of that.
They ran that thing to perfection. And I'm telling you, teams practice that. It's all about timing, and it was absolutely perfect, and that's exactly why they scored the run off of that play.
As I was saying before that stolen base, baseball usually does come down to that, but especially with the quality of the FSU pitching staff, you're not going to have that many of these opportunities, couple runners on base. And so the 2-out hitting with runners in scoring position going to be vital this weekend for the Wolfpack. This gets by Nelson, and Torres is going to come home on a wild pitch.
Yeah, it's just a breaking ball down the zone that just sneaks through. Yeah, it just gets on the outside part of Nelson's body back there, unable to get a glove to it. Something you do not see very often with, obviously, we've been talking about all night how good of a catcher he is. Big mistake right there for Florida State.
And he walked him. Second walk issued today. And again, command was an issue last year. It has not been this year. That's where Hubbard really made his biggest jump forward. And Mike Martin Jr. is going to come out and talk to him. There is nobody in the Florida State bullpen. He's had great swing and miss stuff. He's given up just 3 hits, but 2 of them in this inning.
And it's funny, we were just talking about how a baseball game can change. The level of confidence from a pitcher that he could have, going smoothly, obviously pitching well. You get one guy on, not in a big situation. All of a sudden he gets in the scoring position. Things start to change. And now all of a sudden you got first and third with 2 outs, already a run scored on a wild pitch.
Yeah, we were just talking during the break in the last inning how, with Matt Nelson's single, able to steal second, all of a sudden that was Florida State's first real scoring chance. Every time you come to the plate, technically you have a scoring chance.
Correct.
But especially with these 2 teams, number 2 and 3 in the ACC and hitting home runs. But FSU could not cash in as Johnston struck out Robbie Martin. And now again, it's first and third with 2 outs. Brown has good speed. Do they send him? Not on the first pitch. Keep in mind that Matt Nelson has thrown out 14 would-be base stealers. Tremendous arm behind home plate. Now, the Noles conceding that stolen base last time to Tatum. I don't know if they would necessarily do that here. Jackson Green is playing fairly close to the second base bag. And a good stop by Nelson.
Yeah, I mean, this is the point of the game where if you're Devontae Brown, you're trying to pick up something from Hubbard or Nelson behind the dish of when you know that breaking ball is coming. Obviously, a big looping breaking ball from Hubbard, so that's a perfect pitch to steal on. So if you could pick something up, that would be huge to be able to steal on that pitch. There's a little changeup that gets away from Hubbard, too.
Keep in mind, if NC State did want to run that same play they did against Pitt, they did it with Butler, who's a tremendous base stealer. So is Tatum. It takes a lot of speed on third base. Tatum fits that billing.
It sure does. That's the pitch you want right there. It's a middle-in pitch, 2-1 fastball. This is where I would think Devontae Brown's taking off. Able to move the infield a little bit with him running.
He does. Popped him up.
That ball's high up there.
Adisatis. No trouble. Well, NC State able to score its second run, a wild pitch with 2 outs, scoring Jose Torres. 2-0 our score here in Raleigh. And a look around the ACC. Virginia playing better ball as of late, up a touchdown on Boston College. And in the final weekend of ACC play, lot of important series, all of them, really. Interesting storylines throughout the league. What stands out to you, Andrew Sensen?
I think it's really Virginia.
Okay.
I think it's a team that struggled early on, and they're able to – I mean, Coach O'Connor up there, it always seems like when they were getting close to postseason play, that team figures it out, and obviously they are figuring it out this year. It's a big weekend for Miami and Louisville as well. Louisville's been struggling a little bit. But, yeah, that's a big, big weekend. And that is at Louisville, so that's a good one right there.
Yeah, Louisville has been uncharacteristically struggling. Got swept by North Carolina this past weekend. First pitch swinging, Elijah Cabell, and Reed Johnston wants it. He's going to give way to Austin Murr. He was looking to make a play there.
I was just going to say, you got to, if you're any infielder, you got to get that pitcher off the mound and make the play. You do not let him make that play.
I tell you another one that stands out, and this might be an overlooked series in the ACC, but Clemson, who FSU just beat, 2 of 3. The Tigers now under 500. Meanwhile, Duke is a team that if they can go on a little run here, they can still make that NCAA tournament. Voit to Menchik, this gets under his glove, and it might be a chance at 2 bases for Simmons. I don't think he realized it initially. He'll just take his base hit. That is a seeing eye single here with 1 out in the 5th.
Yeah, it really is. Voit to Menchik just playing towards the line, unable to get there. Another little jam shot. Probably spinning a little bit as well. You see him playing a little bit towards the line, just in that 6-hole. Dives right over it.
And so again, Dylan Simmons, you know, as you're hot as a hitter and he's been playing better and better, seems like you find a few more of those.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what you want. When you're trying to figure some things out, you want those to fall.
Baldor takes a slider for a strike. Baldor led off the 3rd inning with the ground out to short. Started his career at Miami. That lasted a year, transferred to Tallahassee.
Wonder how that went over with the Miami faithful, going back to your rivals.
Yeah, that's a transfer you don't see as often,
No,
or obviously vice versa the other way. But he's found a home at FSU, and he's found a hole to the right side of the infield. Simmons takes a peek. He'll hold up at second. And so back-to-back base hits. And that's where we talked about FSU's defense coming along. Here's the other way that they've really improved in this 5 straight series win streak. It hasn't been as top-heavy of a lineup. The bottom half of the lineup has done more heavy lifting, and Simmons and Baldor now give DeSatis an opportunity.
Well, that's the thing. It's, you know, up at the top part, there's a lot of swing and miss stuff. So at the bottom towards when you're getting there, you know, it's barrel to baseball, putting the ball in play, making things happen. That's exactly why they're in this situation right now, 1st and 2nd with 1 out.
DeSatis was a switch-hitting shortstop when he came to college. He's hitting from the right side only now. Grounder to 3rd. Menchik will step on 3rd for 1, but his throw is wide of the bag. Well, it looked like it might be a tailor-made double play ball, and we talked about just how good Voit to Menchik is. Now, you can't charge him an error there. You can never assume the double play, but that's a play he's going to make 9 times out of 10.
And he got his feet crossed up. You know, if he makes the decision to make a throw on the run, then that's great. You know, you make that decision right away and you stick with it. But you could see him just kind of get twisted up with his feet right there. He tried to set him and then just got, you know, a little untangled at the bottom. That's a play where you just have to make that running throw and you know, let everything take you forward.
So not an error, but it's still a defensive miscue and an uncharacteristic one for one of the best defensive teams in the country. Now can Florida State and 9-hole hitter Jackson Green cash in? You see the average, it's under 170. But again, he has picked it up over the last few weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Driven in just 9 this year. This FSU team has not had an opportunity as good as this one. Just 3 hits against the NC State ace, Reed Johnston. Quickly, 0-2. Johnston likes to work quickly. And Green would not expand the zone.
Yeah, I like that spot right there, though. It's a fastball on the outside part of the plate. You get your eyes moving that way. Guarantee he comes back with a breaking ball. Start middle, let it work on the outside part of the plate.
Johnston with 8 strikeouts tonight. Make it 9. He struck him out to end the inning. Florida State with his best opportunity, but they strand a pair. Halfway home in Raleigh. A couple of the top teams in the Atlantic Division battling here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Look at where D1 Baseball has as the current postseason projection. And, well, at the very beginning of the year in the preseason, D1 Baseball thought that the ACC would get 10 teams into the tournament. That's still the prognostication, but I tell you what, it wasn't these 10 teams. Certainly not Notre Dame and Pitt especially.
No, it's like I said before, it's every weekend any team can get swept or be swept. You know, it's amazing how deep this conference is this year, and it's deep across the whole entire country. But the ACC always seems to just, you know, obviously Notre Dame coming out of nowhere, Pitt coming out of nowhere and being at the top of the ACC. It's going to be fun when, you know, Selection Sunday comes and those teams get called.
May 31st. Change up. JT Jarrett was looking for something a little faster there. Yeah, Wake Forest has not lived up to the preseason expectations this year. Boston College with maybe their most talented team, especially at the top with Sal Frelick and Cody Morissette. Pelio on Fridays. Will this be playable? Nelson certainly thinks so, and he catches it right on the L in Wolfpack. So Jarrett now 0 for 2, and a nice start to the 5th inning for Bryce Hubbard. Look at Duke was preseason ranked. They have not lived up to expectations as well, but again, I'm keeping an eye on that series down in Tigertown. Here's the preseason rankings. Virginia has not lived up to expectations, but they can still get in the tournament.
Miami too. That's a shocking that Miami's not in the top 25.
Yeah.
They are one of the most talented teams I've seen this year in the ACC. It was funny to listen to Coach Martin, yesterday in the Zoom call. He was shocked that they, agreed to play 12 ACC weekends, and he said that's probably the dumbest thing that they've ever done to agree to that.
Well, it's hurt the RPI.
100%.
And the crazy thing is FSU beat Clemson 2 of 3 last weekend. They dropped 11 spots in the RPI, which makes no sense whatsoever.
0 sense.
And, hopefully this year, especially with teams playing fewer non-conference games, the committee will pay less attention to RPI. You would hope, because when you don't have that many opportunities to cross-reference.
And I think baseball is such a, what have you done for me lately sport too. So, you see them, just have success in the last half of the season. I think that, obviously, yeah, they drop 11 spots, but does that really mean much to the committee? Probably not. They're playing good baseball. They have quality wins. Austin Murr finally getting on base here for NC State.
Well, Hubbard got the best of him the first 2 times he saw him with swinging strikeouts, but here he lets him go for a 1-out walk. Yeah, and fans at home might be saying, yeah, how does that work? How do you win a series against a good Clemson team and you fall in the RPI? And the answer, and again, nobody really knows the inner workings of the RPI, right? But I think the most obvious answer is actually it's NC State's fault. Because FSU started the season, they were swept by Pitt at home. Now, that didn't really hurt them as much in the RPI when Pitt was projected as potentially a host team. Well, NC State went on the road and swept Pitt. And that changes Pitt's resume fairly drastically. And so those losses look worse for FSU than they did earlier. Murr takes off. Nelson got him easily. That is what he does. The 15th time this season he has caught a runner stealing.
Yeah, with ease, too. I wonder if that's a missed hit and run right there by McDonough and Murr. It's a breaking ball, though, so I don't know if they saw something that I was talking about earlier. That's a good pitch to run on. It's just a matter of if there was a missed sign or not.
This is an NC State team that is second in the ACC in stolen bases. They've got good team speed. Now, Murr is not the biggest base threat on the team as McDonough cranks this one foul. Now, he's stolen just 3 bases this year, but I think that just gives you an idea of how good Nelson is. That was a breaking ball. It was up.
It was up.
But still, it's a breaking ball, and he throws them out with ease.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's a miss hit and run.
McDonough towards the gap, and there's a lot of space out there in left center, and this is going to find a patch of green grass. Not handled well by Baldor, and McDonough is about the most aggressive base runner in the league, but he stops at second here with 2 away.
Let me tell you, what an arm out there in center field. It's a one hop to third base. Yes, he misplays it, but he also saves McDonough from going to third base. How about McDonough just getting I think it was a changeup up and out. Just unable to get a barrel to it. You see him right here, right away. Sees 2 out of the box, thinks about 3. That's a good arm to hold him at second base.
This FSU outfield's full of good arms. 8 outfield assists on the season. And I think McDonough there, he knew the scouting report as Butler takes a strike. So now the ACC's best hitter entering this weekend with a 2-out RBI opportunity. McDonough, Coach Avent compares him to Pete Rose. He plays all out all the time. In the series against Pitt, he scored from second on a drop third strike. It didn't even get to the backstop. He was stealing third and just never stopped. And as the catcher fired to first to record the out, he kept holding L1. If you play MLB The Show, okay? He never put on the brakes. He just held L1 and sent himself home.
I'm telling you, it's just baseball IQ.
Well, Butler hits this one high and deep to right center field. Johnny Butler to the moon. Well, he was the ACC Player of the Week named on Monday, and his hot hitting streak continues.
Stay hot, young fella. This ball is absolutely crushed. It's a breaking ball. Once again, missing a little bit up at the knees, you could see. And barrel to baseball. Launch angle folks would have a blast with that one. Hubbard, not so much.
It's now 12 homers on the season for Johnny Butler. And he is a guy that, in a lineup of good hitters, I think sometimes gets overlooked. He's going to be a first-team All-ACC outfielder.
If he's not, I question the committee and who's on it.
Torres gets a barrel to this, but he's out in front. So there it was, the 2-out RBI that we were talking about, and Butler comes up even bigger in that spot with a long fly. And NC State, once again, hitting home runs. That's now 69 on the season for the Wolfpack. Torres gets a good piece of this one. Baldor drifting back to the deepest part of the park, makes the catch on the warning track. Torres gave that one a ride. And we'll head to the 6th inning. Johnny Butler with a 2-run homer in the 5th. Johnny Butler with 12 home runs on the year as he goes off in the 5th inning to give NC State a 4-0 lead. You see what he's done over his last 11 games? Pretty good. Pretty good.
Not bad. Not bad. 7 home runs, last 11 games. That will get you ACC Player of the Week honors.
His nickname that they gave him on this team, Johnny Barrels, because of his ability when he came here as a junior college transfer after 1 year, his ability to hit line drives. This one hard hit by Tyler Martin, but there is the steady third baseman for the Wolfpack, and Menchik retires him.
I'll tell you, Tyler Martin just can't catch a break tonight. 2 hard hit balls, one right off of Reed Johnson's back. Another nice play by Vojta Menchik over there at third base. Cannot catch a break.
That line drive swing for Johnny Butler has turned into 12 home runs in his 4th year in college. And the Wolfpack power showing up in this one. Logan Lacey thinking about a bunt. It's ball 2. I like that from Lacey, the way that Johnston's been going today.
I mean, you need to get on base, right? You need to put pressure on him. You need to have him pitch in some high-intensity situations. So any way you can get on, especially with Nelson behind you, you know you have that home run power behind you. Get on base, you know, a home run, make it 4-2 game. You cut the lead in half. That's what you're looking for.
Lacey in a fastball count. He gets one, and it's a base hit. Four hits now for the Noles, 3 of them in the last inning and a third.
Yeah, and 2 of them against the shift. You know, obviously NC State is shifted towards the left side of the ball field. And Lacey takes a line drive, fastball on the outside part of the plate, doesn't try to do too much. Perfect hitting by Lacey right there.
Yeah, that's exactly what the Noles needed. Just get somebody on base for Matt Nelson.
It just forces you to pitch differently. You know, you may not be uncomfortable facing him with someone on base, but you just have to pitch him a little bit differently, you know, to get him in a situation where you're not behind the count, throwing fastball, you know, in a whatever it is, 2-0 count, 2-1 count.
The numbers this year for Nelson are jaw-dropping, but the one that stands out to me the most is, you know, he leads the country in 20 home runs. He's the 2nd fastest FSU player to ever reach 20 home runs in a season. And that is, of course, you played 2 years with the boom boom sticks, as you call them, and then you played 2 years with the BB core. And when they first rolled out, honestly, that was unfair to you guys. They were a little too nervous.
It was bad.
And then they kind of recalibrated it, and now I think the game is in a really healthy spot with the bats. But, you know, back in the day, guys were just, you know, it was the ping bats. I mean, they were taking the cover off the ball.
They used to. J.D. Drew is on that list, and
that's what that, you know, that's one of my favorite players to watch growing up.
Yeah, and I think they used like -5 bats instead of -3, so it was even worse than what I played with. But when you're on the list with J.D. Drew,
and faster than J.D. Drew,
yeah, you're doing all right. You're doing all right. You have the power.
There's only 3 retired numbers at Florida State: 11 for Mike Martin, 34 Dick Hauser, and 39 J.D. Drew.
Yeah, you're in very, very good company right there. And now we are.
What is this discussion here?
We're just a little bit confused about the count right now.
Well, we've got it at a ball and 2 strikes. This is we're trying to recreate the at bat so far.
He's really arguing his case.
Well, if there's anybody that can do this, it might be the catcher, right? He's already got a good rapport. And he's evidently argued his case enough that they're going to get the 4 umpires together, get the crew here and say, hey, what count do you guys have?
And I do not keep the count. I don't know if you do. Do you?
I do not.
Yeah, I do not either. I put all my trust in that scoreboard out there in right field.
I mean, I don't physically write it down. Normally, mentally keep the count, and we'll see what they go with here.
Maybe I should start.
This is This is why, you verbalize the count. It is a 1-2 count, as our crew has done a good job and gone through the replays. I started taking up tennis again in COVID and through quarantine, and I've been there. You're hitting with somebody and you say, we didn't call out score. Are you sure? Remember, you hit that ball here and then the winner over here, and you try to recreate the game, or in this case, the at-bat. So after all of that, it is still a 1-2 count. But that's exactly how the conversation goes.
You ever try to cheat?
You sure it's 30-all? You hit that ball out since then.
Did you try to cheat?
No.
Never?
No.
I would.
It's not my style.
Hey, if you're trying to win.
Nelson gets just a piece of the heater here. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
That's right.
I
mean,
you can,
that's a lot
you
of
can
running.
do that, but the thing is, I want to probably play again. You know what I mean? So,
you need someone to
so
play
I need
with.
a good reputation of, hey,
okay, that's fair.
He's pretty fair. Johnston has not had to pitch from the stretch much tonight. Comebacker, and that ball was scorched. I thought Johnston might have got a piece of it, and it kicked something hard over by the second base bag as well.
Yeah,
back-to-back hits.
That's some topspin right there. I'm shocked he went back with a fastball. Thought it would be an off-speed pitch. Try to get him to chase one. You're ahead of the count. Exactly where you need to be against Nelson. Nonetheless, FSU once again has an opportunity to put up a couple runs here.
Well, so far, Robbie Martin 0 for 2. Couple of strikeouts. Jam shot, Mint Sheik not going to be able to get there. But even with Martin's struggles over the last 60 at-bats or so, FSU's still been winning a ton of games the last month and a half. So if they can get him back to the kind of hitter that they know that he is, if he can bust out of this at the right time, this is already a team nobody wants to see in their regional because of the pitching, but especially if he can get the bat going again.
That's the thing. It's, every player is going to go through a slump. A famous coach, Fred Hill, up in New Jersey at Rutgers University, when I was on my recruiting trip, he told me, you're going to go 0 for 16. You're going to go 0 for 25 at some point in your career, and you just need to learn how to break out of it. You need to learn how to stay positive, through it. Huge strikeout right there by Reed Johnson, but you're gonna struggle, and you need to know how to stay positive, and it's tough too. But right there, it's Reed Johnson just blowing by a fastball.
And that looked like kind of a mistake pitch, did it not?
It did.
I think it was right over the middle.
Yeah, I think it was a missed spot.
So Martin strikes out for the third time tonight. That's 10 for Johnston, tying a career high. But he's not really worried about that right now. He's worried about the prodigious power of Elijah Cabell. He has hit 14 what they call kabombs this year.
I mean, just that ball right there. Obviously, you can't.
That was a defensive swing, and it was a missile.
You cannot see it on TV, but that ball is absolutely scorched out of this ballpark to the right side.
Cabell put on 30 pounds of muscle in the offseason.
Wears a fantastic number 2, by the way. Just throwing that out there.
Old number 19.
Oh, yeah.
Now, did you pick that number on purpose, or that was the number you were given and you came to love it?
I wore that number in high school because my brother wore it before me.
Oh, very cool.
And then I came in and someone had it my freshman year, so I wore number 12. But as soon as 19 opened up my sophomore year, I went back to it.
Reed Johnston, first and second with only 1 out. He goes strikeout to set a new career high and send the Seminoles back to the dugout in the 6th. Beautiful scene here at Doak Field at Dail Park as the sun sets. 84 and sunny when this game started. Dropping down to the high 70s. Got the window open here in the booth. And a new pitcher on the mound for Florida State for the bottom of the 6th inning is Tyler Ahern. The veteran steps up for his 14th appearance of the season. And again, as we noted throughout this broadcast, this is an FSU team with more than ample pitching. It's almost an embarrassment of riches. So Ahern hasn't gotten maybe as many opportunities as he would on another squad. He's another top-flight arm for the Noles.
Yeah, 100%. And the one thing that stands out is the 18 strikeouts to 10 walks. So that might be his biggest downfall so far this year. 10 walks obviously does not sound like a lot, but compared to everyone else coming out of the bullpen, that's his biggest thing. But another electric arm coming out of the bullpen for FSU.
So Hubbart's night is done. Give you his line after the first pitch from Ahern, and Luka Tresh, just like the first pitch that he saw from Bryce Hubbart, trying to jump all over it. So Hubbart's night is done. 5 innings, 5 hits. Initially, I had called it a wild pitch to score NC State's second run. Officially ruled a passed ball. Tresh hit hard, but there's Lacey. 1 gone. So with that, 4 runs, 3 of them earned. He walked 3, didn't have his best command tonight, struck out 6. 5 in the first 3 innings, but the last couple of innings, NC State with 4 hits, 2 walks drawn, and 3 runs scored. And so that is kind of the luxury for FSU, right? It's not that Hubbart was bad tonight at all, but after 5 innings, that's all really the Seminoles need. The bullpen can take it the rest of the way.
Yeah, exactly right. And, he didn't have his best stuff. 3 walks tonight, only 22 on the year for him so far. He was at 91 pitches to see right there, but, I think he just got hit a little bit harder, and that really tends to, lean you to move into that bullpen that obviously you have a lot of confidence in.
Tatum with a single through the right side against Hubbart. And he was in the box when that foul ball made contact with him. Out of those 91 pitches that he threw, 62 were strikes.
Yeah.
So for the most part, he was living in the zone.
And
just
that's
a couple
MO,
of batters
right?
that got away from him.
Yeah, it's his MO. I think that's a lot of these pitchers' MOs. They're in the zone. They make you swing the bat.
Ahern's got that low to mid-90s fastball with a really firm slider in the upper 80s. Can't locate the fastball here, and it's a 1-out walk. Again, an NC State team that doesn't draw a ton of walks, an FSU team that doesn't allow many walks. That's already 4 tonight.
Yeah, definitely uncharacteristic and something that we don't see much of from this NC State offense, but like I said, you talked about earlier, they have a good approach. They know what they're trying to look for, and if they don't get it, they're not afraid to pass a baton on to the next guy. Talk about a guy who has really turned his season around, Devontae Brown. He was down at the Mendoza line for a very long time early on this season, up now to 257.
Yeah, and I think that, with the steps that he's taken forward, and Tatum in the same line, as I said, came into this series hitting .365 in ACC play. This will find a spot over the head of DeSatis. And it's been Tatum and Brown just adding, again, more and more depth to this lineup where, as you said, players are going to slump sometimes, but when you can go 1 through 9, you're always going to have, 4, 5, 6 hitters that are seeing the ball pretty well. And in the second half of the year, Tatum and Brown have been 2.
It's also hitting is very, very contagious. When you see guys ahead of you having good at-bats and being able to piece together at bats and, whether it be two-strike hitting or whatever it is, taking their walks, it's very contagious, and you build confidence off of the guy in front of you. And I think that's where NC State's really succeeded in the last, 2, 3, 4 weeks.
2 on and 1 out for Voitimenchik, and Ahern having to pitch with some traffic, a fake double steal. Runners put on the brakes, and it's ball number 1. Why do you think hitting is so contagious? Is it more of your team's mentality and, like you said, seeing pitches? Is it more of putting the pitchers in more difficult spots, either more mentally than physically? What do you think? What side of the coin does it err on?
I think it's a lot of mental.
Good bunt. Ahern off the mound quickly and fires a strike. That's well done by the reliever to get the second out.
Yeah, it's really well done. That's a nice play. Menchik thought that was going to be more for a hit, get towards the baseline a little bit more. But yeah, going back to your point, it's a lot of mental. It's just like a shooter, whether a three-point shooter or a foul shooter, seeing the ball go through the basket. You always hear basketball references of they just want to see it go in, or putting. You want to see the ball go in the hole. It's the same kind of mentality. If you see guys barreling up baseballs in front of you, you now have the confidence of just saying, hey, this guy's hittable.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what you've heard, what scouting report you've seen. It just kind of fits the eye of the guy in front of you, and then all of a sudden you're starting to build that confidence, and you go up to bat and you're like, yeah, this guy, it's a flat fastball. It could be 96, but it's flat, or whatever it is. You just see it good. So I think that's more of the mental side of, being contagious.
Who's one of the tougher guys to strike out in the ACC, just 25 strikeouts this season. Yeah, that's interesting, If you see 96 and the guy in front of you strikes out, you're thinking, man, this is 96.
It's 96, yeah, exactly.
But if he rips one in the gap, you think, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I just remember facing Stroman in college. It was always, this guy is, 96, 97, and, he's unhittable. Yeah, he's unhittable if you get to 2 strikes and you see that breaking ball he has. But if you see, if you
just get the fastball.
If you go up early and you're chasing fastball because he wants to overpower you, then obviously you have a chance.
Snap throw back down to third. It hits Tatum in the foot. He doesn't know where it is. It very fortunately for FSU ends up in Logan Lacey's glove.
That is a very, very fortunate play for FSU.
There's a million angles this ball can ricochet, and it happened to go pretty much nowhere.
Yeah, right off the foot. Goes straight up in the air. And you see Coach Hart throw his hands up a little bit. Knows how big that run is going into the latter half of this game.
3-1. Now Ahern does not want to get Austin Murr up. He's on deck. Ross Dunn getting loose in the FSU bullpen. Once again, Terrell Tatum way down the line. Maybe just trying to distract Ahern and maybe trying to entice another Nelson throw.
Yeah, I don't mind that from Tatum. He's obviously a very good base runner. You're trying to get in the eyesight of Ahern. Maybe make that, ball 4 pitch.
He walked him. So the walk loads the bases. 2 walks and a soft line drive single in this inning. NC State hasn't done a whole lot of damage with the bats to get to this point. Now bases loaded, 2 outs. You see Dunn looks ready in the pen. And yeah, here he comes. Looks like he's going to come in. Mike Martin Jr. out to the mound. And FSU wants this left-on-left matchup. So Ahern gets a couple of outs, but he will give way to Ross Dunn. More on him when we come back. Tomorrow we'll have a doubleheader for you with 16th ranked Pitt and Wake Forest at 3 Eastern. Then it's game 2 of the Miami-Louisville series. Both games are right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. My name is Andrew Sanders. Joining me, Andrew Sensen. Glad you could join us as well here on Thursday night. Ross Dunn, freshman lefty, in to pitch for Florida State. And a look at that minuscule ERA. A freshman with a very bright future. And talking to Mike Martin Jr., he said he's been one of the bright spots this year. He's starting to throw more and more strikes.
Yeah, and has an electric arm, too, for a freshman coming in. 91, 95 fastball. Likes to throw strikes, and that's what you say, kind of shocked by how this freshman has reacted to the season, how much of a strike thrower he has become. And that's exactly what you want. You're able to throw a left-hander out of the bullpen late in games against a perfect situation right here against a good lefty hitter in Austin Murr.
Low to mid-90s fastball. And that breaking ball, which is a power curveball in the low 80s. Coach Martin says that's basically unhittable. So they bring him in to see Austin Murr. Terrell Tatum is at third, Devontae Brown at second, JT Jarrett at first. NC State already with a 4-0 lead, and Murr with the chance to break this game wide open. DeSatis will end the inning. One pitch from Ross Dunn, and that's enough. Well done by the freshman on the road to keep the Noles within 4. Reed Johnston has been the Friday night ace in the ACC for NC State. And here on a Thursday night, when the lights are brightest, he's at his best.
Yeah, and we talked about early on, getting that big game situation. He's a big game pitcher, and he has absolutely proven it tonight.
11 strikeouts, a career high for Johnston. And he comes out for the 7th inning at 95 pitches. See, the hit's pretty even, but it's been NC State able to hit a couple of balls over the fence. Dylan Simmons takes ball 1. It'll be Simmons, Baldor, and DeSatis. 6, 7, and 8 in the Noles lineup here in the 7th.
Isn't it great to be back at the ballpark and hear fans just screaming at the umpire?
Simmons with his 2nd hit of the game. Hey, well, just to hear the fans in general.
It's great.
I don't know about specifically at the umpire, but yeah, you take all of it. It's just the sounds.
You miss the sounds.
The sounds of the crowd.
Have about 1,700 umpires in the stands tonight.
So a leadoff single for Simmons. This will be foul. And so another chance for Florida State. Reed Johnston was perfect through the first 3 2/3 innings. In the 5th inning, gave up a couple of hits, had 1st and 2nd with 1 out, got out of it. 1st and 2nd with 1 out for the Noles in the 6th inning after Lacey and Nelson singled. But once again, Johnston able to escape with no trouble. What FSU has not had tonight until now is a leadoff base runner. We'll see what the Noles can do with that. And a chance for a momentum shift after NC State had bases loaded and 2 outs. And Ross Dunn came in, threw 1 pitch, and finished the frame.
Yeah, big spot for the freshman to come in and get Austin Murr to straight or ground out to shortstop. That's a huge spot to keep this game at 4-0.
12 strikeouts for Johnston. He gets Baldor for the first time tonight.
And it's been with every single pitch he has. Right there, it's just a slider that backs up on him. Sometimes those are the best sliders that you can throw, ones that don't really break and they just kind of back up on you. But Reed Johnson, I mean, talk about a big-time game, big-time situation, and he has shown his stuff tonight.
DeSatis finds a gap, and the ground ball's showing up for FSU. Yeah, NC State infields obviously playing a little bit more up the middle in double play depth, and if you're DeSatis, that's a good piece of hitting. That's all you got to do, punch it through that hole.
Really good piece of hitting. It's just it almost looks like a fastball on the inside part of the plate. Didn't get a good look at it, but inside outs it, barrel. That's all you're trying to do, get on base. Right now, as you see up in the top left corner, 104 pitches for Reed Johnson and not a sight of movement in the NC State bullpen.
2 on, 1 out for Jackson Green. Johnston has struck him out twice tonight, and so for the third inning in a row, he finds himself in this position. And now here comes the pitching coach, Clint Chrysler, for NC State. We have not seen a visit tonight, and I was just about to, after bringing up that point about the third straight inning, I was going to, ask you, how many guys in the country do you think could be at up over 100 pitches, first and second, only 1 out, and that bullpen silent?
Yeah, just with the confidence and what you've seen out of Reed Johnson so far this year, yeah, obviously you trust him, but this is a big game where I think you can't get in trouble and then all of a sudden scramble and try to get, probably Evan Justice to come into the game. I think he needs to be ready. Like I said, he's already at 105 pitches. I think you need that, insurance and just know that he's able to come in ready to go right away. See right there, Dalton Feeney with the glove on, ball in hand.
I just think, to that point, I just think it speaks to how much belief and trust they have
100%.
in Reed Johnston.
100%.
They have all the confidence in the world in him that he can finish out this frame.
And he hasn't shown otherwise, right? He hasn't shown that it can't happen, and he hasn't been the guy who struggles. But as a coach, I would just get nervous in this type of situation. You're basically a home run away from FSU only being 1 run down. So pretty important spot in this game.
The elevated fastball, and Green swings through it. Johnston has struck out every batter in this FSU lineup except for Tyler Martin, who's on deck. He's gotten Green twice tonight. He got him again. Sweeping slider. About 13 for Johnston.
Yeah, really great pitch and better job by Luca Tresh behind the plate. It's probably a ball down the zone, but does a great job of framing it up there, making it look like a strike. It's been a strike for most of the night anyway. I guess that's why you don't have anyone up in the bullpen. That's what he can do.
Well, you said last time Tyler Martin grounded out, he hit it hard. And, FSU really hasn't barreled anything up tonight against Reed Johnson. That honestly might have been the hardest hit ball of the night, at least that was put in play. I know Cabell probably hit a couple foul that were that's what he does. But Martin has put the ball in play all 3 times.
Yeah, and that's what he does. He puts the ball in play, and, he makes you make a play. And I think he just does a great job of handling the barrel. He knows where that barrel is at all times. And a lot of times he's going to have a flat swing through the zone.
Coach's son, a throwback ball player. Strikeouts have become more and more acceptable in the game of baseball, but that's just not what he does. 43 walks on the year and just 20 strikeouts. I mean, just having more walks than strikeouts is remarkable, but double, he's looking to put the ball in play here.
Yeah, and I love that type of baseball player. Like you said, striking out is so acceptable now, which I can't stand watching baseball, and guys just strike out and they're okay with it. I can't stand watching that. So for watch Tyler Martin kind of grind out at bats and really be frustrated if he does strike out, very impressive to watch.
Couple of takes, And now the runners will be taken off. DeSatis not being held at first. He got a huge lead, and there he goes. Martin will load the bases, and that's a pitch that Reed Johnston thought he was going to get.
Well, I thought he was going to get it too. It's kind of been there all night. If it didn't back up on him, if Luca Tresh set up out there, I think he was trying to go on the inside part of the plate. It just kind of backs up, and you can see Luca Tresh.
Yeah, that's off the plate.
Yeah, go outside the body.
But as you mentioned, the 1,700 umpires in the stands, that was strike 3. So now Lacey representing the tying run here in the top half of the 7th. Into center. McDonough on his horse, looking up. Logan Lacey has tied the game. A 7th inning, 2-out grand slam.
It's a fastball out over the plate, misses, kind of two-seam run back in the middle of the plate, and this is exactly what I talked about, why you have Evan Justice up, ready to go, because this can happen. FSU has the power, and they're proving it right there. And it's funny, I look back at my notes under Lacey, and I have sneaky power. I think that was a little sneaky power over the 400 sign out there in center field at the Doak, and this ball game is tied up.
And just like that, FSU has new life. 4-0 entering this 7th inning. And I said they hadn't barreled up Reed Johnston at all. Yeah, Logan Lacey to the deepest part of the ballpark. At 119 pitches, here comes number 9, Elliot Avon, legendary head coach for the Wolfpack. And Reed Johnston is going to exit. A career high in strikeouts for him. He pitched marvelously tonight. But a couple of ground balls. Tyler Martin, you got to give him credit on that walk. And then Logan Lacey completely changed the game. And the 1,700 give Johnston a warm reception that he deserves. Florida State has tied the game in the 7th on the grand slam by Logan Lacey, and NC State is going to go to the closer now in a tie game. They were hoping to go to Justice in the 8th inning, but he will come in with 2 out here in the 7th and a 1-1 count on Matthew Nelson. Look at Johnston's numbers. Good numbers, and they were great just a moment ago as Nelson rifles one foul. You know, if he can get out of that 7th inning, you're looking at a 0. I mean, I can't tell you how much, you know, the final line is not going to add up to how well he pitched tonight. But, again, we were talking about that earlier. That's baseball, and the game can swing on 1 or 2 pitches. Strikeout ends the inning as Nelson fans. But how about Logan Lacey?
Yeah, it just takes a fastball out over the middle of the plate, ties this game up going into the bottom of the 7th.
Logan Lacey is from Tallahassee. And he just made all of Tallahassee probably stand up off the couch cheering in a game in which, Florida State has hit the ball. They've got 8 hits, had 3 in the last inning. But it's been some singles dropping into the outfield, some ground balls through the infields. Able to generate really nothing offensively. Have squandered a couple of opportunities, and that was just too much to ask. 3 straight innings of first and second, 1 out. They finally cash in the biggest way possible with the most exciting swing in baseball, the grand slam.
You're exactly right, and I think this is what this FSU team has done all year. They've had the chances. They just need one guy to step up, and Lacey was the guy tonight.
And a completely new feel to this baseball game. And for the first time, really since the first pitch of the second inning, Luka Tresh hit a home run.
Yep.
NC State, I think, has been comfortable since that point.
And that's the thing against this team, you can't be comfortable. We just talked about that base loading back in the 6th for NC State. You need to score as many insurance runs as you possibly can. And think about that throw down to third base, try to get Tatum. Ball pops up and goes right to, him at third base. It's just a matter of the little things within the game that really kind of stand out when something goes like that.
McDonough got a look at that tough curveball from Ross Dunn. Able to get a piece of it that time. High strike not given. 2-2. McDonough with a double in the left center field gap in his last trip. This is a swinging bunt. McDonough runs well, and Nelson colliding with his pitcher, and McDonough thought about heading to second. And now Nelson is down. That was a serious collision between Dunn and Nelson, and now Matthew Nelson thankfully back on his feet, but I think he took the worst of that.
Yeah, hopefully just got the wind knocked out of him, but that's such a tough play. You got a left-hander up. He's falling towards that baseline that the ball was hit towards, but either way, tough play. They're both going to have to make a play and spin, get another look at it right here. McDonough, pretty good runner too. Yeah, it looks like his cleat just kind of gets caught up. McDonough, luckily, he's kind of taking his time getting back towards first base. He's lucky that.
You saw Tyler Martin.
Yeah.
Give me the ball,
yeah,
Robbie Martin.
You got to tag him out, be on the heads up right there.
It seemed that Nelson was more worse for wear after that collision, but you see it was Dunn who actually got tripped up, and going to give him a warm-up pitch, make sure he feels all right. He does. And so, again, it's the little plays in the game. You can't hit a ball much softer than that for Tyler McDonough. But that looks like a torched ball to left, right, because it's a leadoff single, and that's in the bottom of the 7th here. Tie game, it's massive.
It's a line drive in the books. That's what they always say.
And Johnny Butler, who homered in his last trip to make it a 4-0 lead for NC State. He has had a knack for clutch 7th inning home runs. He did it against Wake Forest. He did it against Pitt last weekend.
Yeah, talk about, don't want to miss to Luka Tresh with a fastball. This is definitely a guy you do not want to make a mistake pitch to. He will take advantage of it.
Chases that ball in the dirt, but it's just strike 2, and it's going to let McDonough get to second.
Yeah, great base running right there. Sees dirt ball right away. That's a big, big run for NC State if they can push him across. It's just, once again, we talk about the baseball IQ of this team. McDonough, obviously a veteran, just plays the game the right way and reads that dirt ball perfectly.
But maybe no team better in the ACC than FSU of getting out of spots like this. Runner on second, nobody out, because of the ability for the swing and the miss. And just a stone-cold take.
That's a really good take by a very good hitter, especially after going after the last one. If he's seen that ball well, that is a ball that he hit out his last at-bat, obviously against a different pitcher.
3-2. FSU have been road warriors this year, as has NC State. Not many Seminole fans in attendance here in Raleigh. I assume next weekend the chant in this situation, as it always is, will be K-time. Butler trying to prevent that from happening.
Man, let me tell you, the first time I went down to FSU to play, and I had that obviously in the opportunity to where I could strike out, and I heard that K-time. You hear about 3,000 people chanting K-time in perfect unison. It is quite impressive to hear.
Johnny Butler with an outstanding at-bat as he draws a walk. I will tell you, you were maybe a little bit rattled hearing that for the first time. I will tell you, as a broadcaster,
yeah,
I knew that the Animals of Section B were going to sing "O Canada" in the bottom of the fifth. I knew that was coming, right?
Oh, Canada.
Even as a broadcaster, the first time I heard it, knowing it was coming, it still threw me off.
Yeah.
I was having trouble, finishing my sentences as I was trying to start the fifth.
See, you knew it was coming. I didn't. I was saying out there, I'm like,
well,
what are we singing?
You didn't read the game notes,
Yeah,
right?
I was like, what are we singing "Oh Canada" for? What's going on here?
So Ross Dunn, after an infield single and a walk, will exit. The cleanup man Torres is coming up for NC State. Nobody out and runners on first and second. We'll be right back. Get the latest news and information from the ACC each morning. Special guest from the world of sports, Packer and Durham. Weekdays at 7 a.m. on ACC Network and the ESPN app. With Andrew Sensen, my name is Andrew Sanders. Under the bright lights of Doak Field at Dail Park, in steps the right-hander Hunter Purdue. And Purdue will have to be a fireman here with runners on first and second. Nobody out in a tie game.
Yeah. Once again, just another strike thrower. 21 strikeouts to 5 walks. Another good electric arm coming out of this bullpen. Huge, huge spot here for Purdue.
Mid-90s fastball. Still working on his slider and changeup, but the numbers this year would say that hard work has paid off on the secondary stuff.
You're exactly right. Yep. And with the fastball that he has, all you have to do is just show the off speed, right? Just to kind of change the eyesights.
Sure.
Change speeds.
Coach Sensen, are you bunting here?
Yes. 100%.
McDonough on second, Butler on first. Both with excellent speed.
Yep, you have to force them to make a play. That's what you need to do if you're NC State here. The bunt doesn't have to be perfect, just can't be right back at the pitcher.
FSU in bunt defense. Lacey, the third baseman, Martin at first. Now Torres did square initially before Purdue spun. Yeah, he shows very early here. This NC State team, with the way that they hit the ball, they have not bunted as much this season as they have in past years. But still, in this kind of spot, situation calls for it, and that's what Coach Avent is going to do. Popped up and off the screen.
Yeah, with a guy with velocity too, it's obviously a little bit harder to bunt, but you need to set your angle. This is a type of guy that you need to really work on deadening the ball. That's, with that velocity, your bunt for a hit now really becomes a sack. You're just, as you see Torres setting up early. But, if he's more comfortable in a situation where he's going for a bunt for a hit, then, let that go.
He is not bunting here. And hit that 100+ miles an hour, but foul.
And now all you're trying to do is put the ball in play. If anything, you're trying to get it to the right side of the field just to get McDonough over to third base.
Yeah, when you see 95, you're trying to to softly hit a sphere with a cylinder.
Yeah, good luck.
That's not easy.
Good luck. That's a really good job, just fouling that ball off. And that's the only thing I don't really like about the sack bunt. You could see how early he was going out, and you're basically just standing there waiting for it to come. I think it kind of puts it into your mind that you have to get the job done. I like guys who sometimes wait a little bit longer, but I mean, in any situation right now, that's tough to get down.
High heater struck him out.
Yeah, that's what he's going to do. Mid-90s fastball up in the zone. Looks really good to every single hitter that will step into that box. That's unable to catch up to it. That's a huge strikeout right there for Purdue.
Now here's a guy who ambushed a fastball back in the second. Good fastball hitter versus a good fastball thrower.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to see many of them. Hate to break it to him, but I think you're going to see a lot of.
If you're Purdue, you go away from your bread and butter?
Early on the count, yes.
Okay.
You can come back to it, obviously, later on the count. You're almost just getting pitched backwards like we talked about before. And, of course, he throws 95 right down the middle of the plate.
Just like I told you, man.
Got to be ready for it. But, yeah, I mean, if, this is the type of situation I always talk about eliminating pitches. If you have no trust in him throwing you, 3 consecutive breaking balls, then, yeah, you're only sitting on a fastball.
He got another one. This ball down the line. Martin has gone a long way, and he runs out of room. Look at how far he is from the first base bag.
That's the thing. You have Robbie Martin, too, playing a little bit shaded towards center field. Obviously, Green at second base playing up towards the middle, double play depth. That could be the perfectly spot, drop ball if you are Luca Tresh. There's a lot of room out there in right field.
So Purdue way ahead here, 0-2. Tresh 1 for 3 with that solo shot.
Pitch right there, 97 miles per hour. He is bringing it tonight.
Well, I apologize. I said mid-90s. I'll classify that as upper 90s.
That is upper 90s, yep. Once you pass that 95 threshold.
And a slider, and you could see right there, Tresh was geared up to C97. He didn't get it. And so back-to-back strikeouts, and now Purdue just one batter away from getting out of this.
That's a massive strikeout. You can see, yeah, just gets fooled on it. Looking fastball, thinks he's going to challenge him again. Absolutely massive strikeouts right there by Purdue to Torres and Tresh. See if we can leave these NC State runners stranded.
It's Terrell Tatum, who's reached twice tonight. Quickly 0-1. So this has been it's not just the pitching versus the offense matchup. It's really a difference in, FSU leads the ACC in strikeouts and in Ks per 9. NC State strikes out, one of the fewest in the ACC, right about 8 times per game. Well, that's the 8th strikeout of the game, as Tatum is late and sprays it foul. And so that's the matchup, is the staff that strikes out everybody versus a team that doesn't strike out much. You know, what's it gonna be? And I think you're seeing here, this is why FSU can be tough, because you can have first and second and you might not score.
That's the thing, it doesn't matter. And that's why getting that bunt down is so big, right? You now have to pitch differently because you have runners on second and third. And a nasty slider right there.
That is as good as it gets. Hunter Purdue, 3 straight strikeouts. Well, NC State got out to a 1-0 lead in the second inning, stretched it to 2-0 in the fourth, and made it 4-0 in the fifth on a 2-run home run by Johnny Butler. But FSU, last time the Seminoles were at the plate, got a grand slam from Logan Lacey to completely change this ball game. And they come up in the 8th after Hunter Purdue fanned 3 straight Wolfpack batters, with a chance to take their first lead of the game.
Yeah, as you said off broadcast, momentum has shifted. I really think that FSU has, you know, they're right back in this ball game, obviously tied up at 4, but they know they have the best part of their bullpen ready to go against a obviously very good NC State offense, but unable to get the job done. Last inning in the 6th, they had bases loaded, unable to push across a run. A lot of opportunities that they just have not been able to capitalize on tonight.
Did it hit him? It did, they say. Robbie Martin.
I think you have to challenge that no matter what.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, exactly. That's a huge runner to have on.
I think it got the sleeve.
Yeah, I think you're gonna be able to tell from if we get from behind the pitcher's mound. Right there, that's hard to see. Guess we are not. Are you able to challenge that? That's I don't know. Hit by pitch?
You can, but you're going to make me go to my rule book here. I believe we are at the point where it would be an umpire review.
Why would any umpire question his call right there, right?
So a leadoff base runner for Cabell, and it's quickly 2-0. Could be 2. Torres didn't handle it cleanly, and therefore it'll just be 1. But they get the lead runner, and that was going to be a tough one to turn anyways.
Yeah, just unable to get it out of the glove. Obviously moving towards that third base bag. But that's all you want to do right there. Get the lead out as long as you get an out.
Dylan Simmons takes ball 1. Okay, so.
I was going to say, I apologize. You're digging deep into this.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to make sure before I say it on the air that I mean, I thought I knew, but you want to make sure. So, yes, hit by pitch is certainly a reviewable call. Simmons high into the night sky. 2 away. The crew chief may initiate review at his discretion beginning with the 8th inning. 6th inning for prescribed 7-inning games. So, the team may use the head coach challenge at any time during the game. So actually NC State could have challenged. I would imagine they probably did not, because on a hit by pitch like that, it's just really tough.
It's very tough.
It's very tough to say for sure the ball did not hit him.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there.
Also, you got to talk to your catcher as well, and if Luka Tresh quickly looks over and said, nods his head, then you say, okay, it hit him. FSU, Mike Martin Jr., going to bring in Davis Hare to pinch hit for Nico Baldor. Hare, another two-way player. He spent some time at DH this year. 306 hitter in a somewhat small sample size of 36 ABs. We expect a good series. Can I still call it this weekend, even if it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
I think I've called it that plenty of times tonight.
We expect to have a great series this weekend. This has been a great game so far, with so much on the line here on Thursday night. Game one, both of these teams, they know if they win the series, should be a top 4 seed in the ACC tournament.
Man, this has postseason feel to it. I feel like I'm sitting here watching a regional game, a Friday night game that you have to win, or a Saturday night game you have to win to stay out of the Luja's bracket. That's kind of the game I feel like I've been watching, and we have been treated to a good one tonight.
Florida State trying to complete a comeback, but the closer Justice is in, trying to keep the home team. These two programs, no strangers to good games. And the last time they met, NC State did win in Game 2 of a walk-off in 2019. Walk-off by Tyler McDonough. Justice just trying to give the home team, last hacks. And just stop this momentum, because right now FSU has the momentum. He finishes off the 8th, and so after getting the leadoff man on by a sleeve-brushing hit by pitch, good bounce back for Justice. If you're just tuning in here in the bottom of the 8th, NC State got this innings, or the scoring started, I should say, in the second inning. Pass ball made it 2-0. And then in the 5th, the big fly by Johnny Butler. And so it was all Wolfpack through 6+ innings. All of that was erased on one swing by Logan Lacey. And that's where we stand at 4 runs apiece.
So fastball absolutely crushed. A little dead center. I guess you can consider that a Oppo taco, right?
It was,
a little
it was
right
to the
of,
Oppo side of the 400 sign, just barely. Devontae Brown, Wojciech Sheik, and JT Jarrett trying to put the ball in play against Hunter Purdue. He came out and struck out all 3 batters that he saw in the last inning. He will put it in play here, and he hits it to the most dependable defender for FSU, Jackson Green, 1 away.
He was actually out in front of that ball, probably gearing up for that 97. That's what you got to do. You got to be aggressive. If he's going to challenge you early on, go ahead and chase that fastball. That's something that I don't mind seeing. Probably go another fastball away right here. It's where his bread and butter has been. Ooh. Up in zone.
Menchik with the sacrifice back in the 6th. NC State left the bases loaded in that 6th inning. And at the time, anytime you miss that opportunity, especially against a team like FSU, felt like a missed opportunity for NC State, but in hindsight, an even bigger missed opportunity. Major league fly ball. A bit of an adventure out there in left. Cabell has it, 2 away.
Talk about just missing a pitch, and you said a little bit of an adventure out there, but gets the job done. 2 quick outs for Purdue. And this is where you really want JT Jarrett to get a couple pitches, see a couple pitches, work the count, be able to flip the lineup, get Murr up.
By the way, Isaiah Perry in center fields for Davis Hare. Chin music makes it 2-0.
Yeah, as scary as this is, 2-0, I'm getting on the dish, making him throw a strike. It'll get a little bit hard when you guys throw 97, you get up on the dish, but
yeah, that's
you
that's
have
brave.
to do it. You have to do it. It's a team at bat. Make him throw a strike on the inside part of the plate. Possibly make him a little bit uncomfortable.
And that's too tall. Jarrett has walked for the second time tonight. And the go-ahead run on base now for NC State with 2 outs. First base runner allowed by Hunter Purdue.
Just a great job by JT Jarrett. He knows the situation. He knows what he has to get done. He gets it done and then flips the order to Austin Murr. Big at bat right there.
Austin Murr hitless tonight. Not many games this year where that has happened. Takes a little something off for strike 1. Once again, I believe that was a changeup.
Yeah, it is a very good changeup too. Starts at the knees. It's a strike for 90% of the way. Drops out of the zone, last 10%. Question is, does he go back out with a high fastball here? Try to get him the chase.
He does.
So this is where always I thought, he goes down with the changeup. He goes up to, kind of change my eyesight. Does he come back with a changeup? It's something that, like you said, his bread and butter has been the fastball. See if he stays with it. He goes changeup.
And he finds a hole. Murr with a 2-out base hit. And they're on the corners with 2 away. Tyler McDonough coming to the plate for NC State with the go-ahead run on third base. This is what he did in 2019. Game 2 on a Saturday night. A bouncer much like the one Murr just hit.
I was just going to say, very, very similar to the ball Murr just hit.
That clinched the series for NC State. FSU went on to win on Sunday. NC State has won the last 2 series here at home, 2019 and 2017. Well, how about Hunter Purdue? It's not just the lively fastball. He showed the changeup to Murr and the breaking ball to McDonough.
I thought that was going to be called a strike.
Yeah, didn't miss by much.
Costello behind the dish. That has been a strike for a lot of tonight. See right there, hitting .381 with runners in scoring position this this season. That's an impressive number.
Nothing but sliders. McDonough with 2 of the 8 NC State hits tonight. And what will he see here? FSU pitching coach Jimmy Bellinger says AAA 3-4K. Any pitch, anytime, anywhere, 3 for a strike. FSU just simply not going to cover the second base bag.
Yeah, you could see Murr kind of teasing him right there. Say, throw it down. Let me get in a rundown, score this run. Obviously with the veteran behind home plate, he knows what he's doing.
And so FSU concedes the bag, but with the base hit now, very well could score 2. 2-2 on McDonough. Off of his body, it's in fair territory, but foul. Caught him on the front leg.
Talk about postseason feels. This is it right here.
No doubt.
Have to love to be in this situation if you're Tyler McDonough. Been the guy all year for NC State. It's one single. Can he get it done?
He struck him out. 4 for Hunter Purdue, and he struts off the mound for the second straight inning, stranding the go-ahead run on third. Ninth inning, tie game, and this one has been as even as they get. Both teams 4 runs, 8 hits, no errors. Reed Johnston, not with 11, with 13 strikeouts. But Logan Lacey with the grand slam in the 7th erased a 4-run NC State lead, and that's where we find ourselves as we start the 9th. 8, 9, and 1 due up for the Noles. This is the shortstop, Nander DeSatis. He singled in the 7th. And, of course, came across the score on the grand slam. NC State with Evan Justice, a guy who at the start of the year was their Friday night ace. He's a closer that can be extended and has really pitched twice a weekend for the Wolfpack. He picked up 2 saves this past weekend at Pitt. Pitched twice at Wake Forest, twice against Virginia Tech, as DeSatis with a sword to strike out starting the 9th.
That's what Evan Justice has done all season. That is a filthy slider. Stays up in his zone, but just no chance to even try to foul it off. And this is what we were talking about earlier on, and I think this is why I would take Reed Johnston out earlier on, because now you have to push Evan Justice, and it's a tie game, right? So now who are you going to bring in after him? He can only throw so many pitches, so, you know, and it's only a tie game. That ball is scorched out to center field to McDonough.
Yeah, that is a hard hit ball by Jackson Green.
Very, very hard hit ball. So just a little bit of a different situation, you know, bring him in with the lead, and now it's a tie ball game.
2 out, nobody on, but Tyler Martin, who again is the catalyst with Lacey on deck, he takes a strike. Now, Justice is a big strikeout pitcher. He struck out a couple of so far, but again, Martin is so tough to strike out. It's quickly 0-2. I mean, to me, obviously, the swing by Lacey is the big play in the game, but that doesn't happen without the quality at bat from Martin right before.
100%.
That to me might be the most important at bat overall, because you don't even get to Lacey.
100%. You set the table, right? That's what he does. And we talked about how, you know, he just grinds out at bats. He knows what he's looking for. Even that pitch right there, that's been a strike for most of the night. Probably a ball off the black. Doesn't even flinch at it.
The slider, though, does get him looking. Justice with 3 strikeouts, and the Wolfpack with a chance to win it in the 9th. Johnny Butler, the ACC Player of the Week and leading hitter in the conference, will lead things off. Bottom of the ninth. Tie game. FSU has come back from a 4-0 deficit. Swinging the momentum on a grand slam from Logan Lacey. But the Wolfpack at home with last hacks. Johnny Butler, a first pitch line drive into left center field. And it's bobbled in center by Perry. I think he was going to reach second anyway. Leadoff double.
Johnny barrels leading this ninth inning off for NC State. Momentum now shifts right back to NC State. Just does a great job. It's a fastball out over the middle plate. Doesn't try to do too much. But if we've seen anything tonight, we know how hard it is to get that guy in from second base.
There is nobody swinging a hotter bat in the country right now than Johnny Butler.
It's fun to watch.
Jose Torres squaring to bunt. Ball one. Now we saw Torres up in a bunt situation against Hunter Purdue in the seventh. He could not get the bunt down at 1-1 after his first strike, and he popped it up. They took the bunt off. He ended up striking out. Now Purdue, well, I'm not a lip reader, but he's not happy.
Not happy, and this is a great job by Coach Martin to come out, calm him down.
He really thought that that was a strike.
I mean, you need to keep your emotions in check, especially at this point in the game. You know, umpires, they see that. They feed off that. If you want a call at any point in this ninth inning, you need to, keep your cool and understand the situation.
Well, Jonah Scalaro is in the pen, the veteran lefty. This is a Florida State team that has as deep of a bullpen as anybody in the country.
100%.
They do not run out of pitching. It's just a question of who do they want on the mound in the big spot. And you've seen a couple of newcomer power arms. There's the Haney, the Scalaro, the Kwiatkowski. Those guys have been around. They have done it for years in Tallahassee. But you see a Ross Dunn and a Hunter Purdue, and that's where they have just gotten even deeper.
I was going to say, you throw those two guys out, and you're not really your top dogs. It's impressive to watch.
Not bunting the 1-0, and a great stop by Matthew Nelson.
I think this is, like I said last inning, you get up on the plate. He's got his emotions. You got to check back in. You have to check back in and get your emotions in check to be able to throw strikes here. This is a big spot for your team.
We haven't even mentioned the closer, Jack Anderson. Have not needed him tonight in this situation. They're going with the hot hand in Hunter Purdue. And, on the first pitch of the inning, Johnny Butler gives NC State the winning run in scoring position. But if you didn't see the 7th or the 8th inning, Purdue struck out 4.
Yeah, he did all right. It's like I said, it's a tough task to get Johnny Butler in right now.
And again, he's late on a fastball.
Yeah, I'm shocked that they go back to letting him swing away. You get Butler at third base, everything changes now. You pitch differently. Options become open that you don't have right now with him on second base, a sac fly. A lot of different things change in that situation.
Torres with a high fly ball to left fields. Cabell has plenty of room, and Butler will not be able to tag. Counterpoint, right? And this is always the discussion, right? Should you not bunt?
Yep.
And oftentimes it's decided in hindsight which was the correct decision.
Of course.
The counterpoint is you've got Purdue and Luka Tresh and Terrell Tatum, who are due up next, are the top strikeout guys on the team.
Yep.
So I'm not saying you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong.
No,
I'm just saying that's the counterpoint and the other side of that coin.
100%.
So why not give
them the chance?
Why give away an out when a base knock with a speedy guy like Butler, a base knock's going to score?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's like you said, it's hindsight 2020, and it's just a difficult situation. If you trust Torres to get the bunt down in any situation, go ahead and let him do it. Obviously, fouled one back his last at bat, so maybe you just don't have the trust in him to get it down and make a play. So
well, also he's a guy hitting over 300.
Yeah, that also helps. that also helps.
Tresh 1 for 4 tonight with a solo shot. He might have done it again. Deep fly ball to center. Perry watches it disappear. Luka Tresh will touch them all. A walk-off win for the Wolfpack. In front of 1,700 here at Doak Field at Dail Park, the largest crowd that they have had all season, and they will go home delighted.
Welcome back, fans, to Doak Field at Dail Park. Unbelievable. Luka Tresh struggled lately, gets a off-speed pitch, middle of the zone, and does not miss it. Massive win for NC State.
What a fun ball game to watch. We saw 4 home runs tonight, 3 for NC State, the grand slam for Florida State, 11 of their last 12, and the Wolfpack now 18-13. Since their start at 1-8, they have gone 17-5 in the ACC.
It's one of the hottest teams in the country, and you can't really argue about it. You know, they're playing good baseball. They got down, obviously, that grand slam. They could have folded right then and there, but they don't. They come back, and they had to give themselves a chance to win this ball game, and they took advantage of it. Right here, you're going to see another replay of Luka Tresh's home run. Off-speed pitch, belt high. No chance of keeping that thing in the ballpark.
And for Luka Tresh, the young man from Safety Harbor, Florida, in the Tampa area, to do it against Florida State, I wonder if it means a little more for him.
Of course.
A 2-homer game for Tresh, and NC State takes a thrilling Game 1, 6-4, the final score.
What an unbelievable atmosphere, unbelievable game. I think this is what you're going to, what we expected coming into this weekend, right? Like 2 of the best teams in the ACC going battle to battle, some of the best pitching staff, some of the best offense you're going to see. We got a prime game here tonight at the Doak.
Luka Tresh, he did it in the 2nd inning. He does it in the bottom of the 9th. NC State has not played an extra innings ball game all year, and they wanted no part of one tonight. Luka Tresh with the 1-out, 2-run nuke to center field to give the Wolfpack a victory. It was a fun game. We'll do it all again tomorrow, 6:30. You can catch it right here on the ACC Network Extra. For our fantastic crew and my partner, Andrew Sensen, my name is Andrew Sanders. Good night. We'll see you tomorrow. This has been a presentation of ESPN.